We have another speaker who is a family member. She works at Road to Responsibility, Patty Garrity. Patty's brother was born with developmental disabilities, and with the help of her family, they've made some tremendous progress in working with human service workers like yourself. Unfortunately, things changed in 1995 when Mark was hit by a truck, suffering a traumatic brain injury and only having, according to the doctors, a 10% chance for survival. Well, he's beat the odds, and he's here, and Patty is going to talk a little bit about her experience and also with her brother Mark. Patty?
We're just going to chat people up. Can you lock your brakes? Hi. Actually, I do not work for Road to Responsibility. Mark does. Yep. And I'm just going to tell you a little about his story. My name's Patty Garrity, and I want to talk to you today about an incredible person in my life, my younger brother Mark. Mark was born with a developmental disability, the youngest of 7 children. As a family, we knew that Mark's life would be challenging, yet he was able to live a full, independent life. We kind of had an idea of the way Mark's life might go. Mark graduated from Cardinal Cushing School and Training Center in Hanover in 1992. And in 1992, following his graduation, he started an employment program through Road to Responsibility in their Braintree Work Center. Mark absolutely loved his work program. He loved being with his colleagues, and he loved being a productive employee. What changed was in March of 1995, Mark was involved in an accident as a pedestrian, and he suffered a traumatic brain injury. At the time, his neurosurgeons told my family and I that he had only about a 10% chance of survival, and there was little hope for recovery. That was 17 years ago. So he beat that. After the accident, Mark was in a coma for 3 months. He was hospitalized for 13 months. Following the 3 months of the coma, when he did regain consciousness, communication was difficult. Mark's speech was difficult since birth. Family, we do well with his communication. But at this time, waking from the coma, he had a tracheotomy, so there was no communication. But soon after awakening, Mark would use sign language, and each day, would go in and he'd look at us, so we'd get some positive reinforcement, and then I was with him, and we were communicating, and he used the sign language, and he made the sign for work. And I looked at him, and I said, work, yeah. And he said, he wanted to go back to work. He loved his job, and it was one of the things that pushed him to get better. So as I saw Mark driven to get back to work, I totally bought into that goal, and I said, there's things you need to learn to do. He needed to learn to do everything again. He needed to learn to sit up, to eat, to swallow, to eventually walk. So we were working towards that goal. After my brother's accident, I stepped into the role of the direct care worker. I rearranged my life to care for Mark for 10 years. And at the end of many days, I was physically and mentally exhausted. At the time, I was working for a corporation as well. And there was no comparison to the 2 jobs. There was just no comparison at all. The work the direct care workers do is incredible. The hours are long. The job is not glamorous. They are responsible for someone's life and well-being. It is a complex, demanding 24-hour commitment, and the pay does not match for the work provided. Things have changed for me and Mark, and I am forever grateful. Today, I have Barry with us, who is one of the many wonderful direct caregivers at Mark's house. I'm thankful as well to all direct care workers across the Commonwealth who do so much every day for our loved ones. I would like to see in this year's state budget that dedicated workers receive a salary increase an adjustment so they can stay in this sector and continue to provide essential services to Mark and so many others. Mark's recovery was difficult, but he never gave up. 4 years after his injury, Mark was able to return to his work. He works 30 hours a week at Road Responsibility Work Center, doing packaging, collating, and different, packing jobs. He loves his job so much that I'm afraid of what might happen if budget cuts force the elimination of work programs for individuals with disabilities. These programs are instrumental in Mark's recovery, and I'm sure he's not the only one. With recent cuts to human services, though, I'm concerned that support of these types of programs is diminishing. We must ensure we continue to fully fund human services and provide a proper salary for dedicated direct care workers so the sector can continue recruiting and retaining qualified employees. I know that without the dedication of the caregivers and his therapists, Mark would not have made a full recovery. When you do visit your legislators today, tell them your personal story about what human services has meant to you and your loved one, and tell them how important it is that individuals in need of assistance receive high-quality services, and that the dedicated caring force who provide help to so many individuals receive adequate compensation to incredibly complex jobs. Thank you.
With the support of family members, anything is possible. Thank you, Patty, for sharing that message that needs to be heard.